Welcome everyone. We're just gonna wait for a few more people to join in. Thank you. Welcome everyone. We're just gonna wait for a few more people to come in. So we're gonna start in approximately 2 minutes. Thank you. All right. So All right, welcome everyone. My name is Janina and I'm thrilled to be here with you today alongside our operations manager, Michelle. Welcome to today's webinar, We Estimate Commission Management System Module to Automate Commission Calculations, showing you how to automate commission calculations during the estimating process. This webinar will provide an in-depth review of the WeSuite Commission Management System module. We will review the following features supported for commission plan rules, calculations, assignment of plans, viewing estimated commissions within estimates on the URG, and commission reporting. After this webinar, you will know and understand the variety of commission calculations supported, the basics of commission plan creation, assignment of commission plans to users, and review of estimated commissions within the application. So we want you to get the most out of today's session. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you need us to slow down, revisit a point, or dive deeper into something, drop your questions in the chat and we will answer them. All right. Thank you. And let's dive right in, Michelle.
Thank you, Janina. And good afternoon, everybody. Good morning for some of you, maybe. So, as Janina had mentioned, today's call is regarding your commissions for those of you that have a commission module and for those of you that are interested in utilizing it in the future. So, to first show you where to go to do those configurations, you'd go into Tools and then Commission Setup here. For those of you that do not have the commission module, this would be grayed out. So once you do have and subscribe to that, this will be turned on for you and we'll help you out with that. So I'll go in here and I'll go to my commission setup. Now the commission has many layers to how we create them for them to then calculate on specific jobs, right, and specific people. When you are creating a commission plan, what I always recommend clients to do is to actually write it out in if-then statements, as I've done here. So for instance, if I look at my commission rule, I would say if my margin is greater than or equal to 35%, then I want to pay 3% of the total sell price. If my job type is access control, then I want to pay out 2 times the RMR on a job, right? We do have different data types that you can create rules on. So we have the GP percent, we have GP dollars, job types, and specific RMRs. So I will display that to you in a second. So for instance, if I do want to create a rule that's specific to this line here, the first thing we always want to make sure is we want to make sure that we create a rule, create a payment, and then the combination of the rule and the payment would create a rule cluster. That rule cluster would then get assigned to an actual commission system to then calculate towards the job. Okay. It can potentially get a little difficult to understand. So the way I usually do it is my rule configuration is my if part of the statement, and then my payment configuration is the then side. So hopefully that will resonate with you. So for instance here, I'm going to go to my rule configuration first. I'll then add my rule and I will label it, right? So GP and percent, GPM percent greater than or equal to 35, right? And so I'm going to click OK. And again, I'm going to take a look here and I'm going to say my GP percent is greater than or equal to 35%. Pretty simple here. The next thing that I want to explain to you is your time frame. So you have the ability to say that it's during a period of time, or if it's at a job, every single job is going to get commission on. The job time frame is typically it's the more common of the two that is being used because every job will calculate increments of dollars, whereas using a during time frame, this allows for you to, let's say, add commissions on top of their already set commissions. For instance, if they hit a goal of $100,000 in the span of 3 months, they could potentially get a kicker, or maybe like a 1% increase of commission. So that is a possibility there. Okay. So, but in this case, though, I'm going to say this is at the job level. And I can also have specific types of sale, job types, or packages that this particular rule can then trigger against. Because maybe there are certain job types, let's say, that won't require commission because they're upgrades, let's say, right? So maybe only intrusion and access control job types will trigger a specific commission here. Okay, so I'll select these two just in case, and I'll just say save. So now here's my GPM rule. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my payment configuration. So again, going through here, it's I set it up as 3% of the total sell price. So I will again add a new payment. I'm going to say 3% of total sell. And what I'll do here is I'm going to put a percent here, and there's my total sale price. Okay, and I click save. So now I have my rule, I have my payment, and now I want to create my cluster. So I then create my cluster by clicking this plus sign again. So 3% of total sell, 35 GP. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I would like to make it easier for myself to add this cluster into a commission system. Okay, so I go in here. First, I need to add the rule. So my rule is here, adding here, and then I add a payment. Where's my 3% total sell price? Now my rule cluster is created. So that's good. Next thing I want to do is that if I want to add a new commission system, okay, to then add this rule cluster to, I click on the left side, add, and I'm going to say new salesperson commission. Okay. And what I'll do here is when I go here, I'll go to my system overview, and I'm going to look for this 3% that I created. And what I'll do is, since I have this whole set of selections because of clusters that were created prior, I can add as many clusters that could potentially apply to this new salesperson's commission plan. So first, I'm going to go here, add this, and maybe let's add this 2K. So you'll notice here that as I added it in, it shows up here, and you are provided this and, or, and then this force eval. What this is that if I have this set to be an and, right, what this is going to do is that only if these two rules are accessed or is true on a job, will the salesperson get credit for it. If I set it to be or, on the other hand, what it'll do is it's going to evaluate is the GPM percent greater than or equal to 35%, or is the RMR less than 2,000, right? And the salesperson could potentially get a credit for both, or could only get one or the other. Okay. Does anybody have any questions with a rule configuration, payment configuration, a rule cluster? Takers. All right. Next thing I need to do here is after I have made sure that I have an and or set up, I need to make sure that I flag this as an end. So what this is going to do is it's going to end the evaluation of the rules here. I could potentially have, this here, right? I could have a bunch of exceptions and rules to add to my commission, but if I have end in the middle of that, it could potentially error. Okay. The thought is similar to how approvals work, where the last rule needs to have the word end on it. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Moving forward here. The next column here is the force eval. If this is set to default, what it will do is it will evaluate this cluster first, and it'll say, is this cluster true? If it's not true, then it'll move on to the next rule cluster. If that's not true, then it will continue on until a cluster is true, right? If this is set to yes, on the other hand, what will happen is that it will take a look here and say, is this true? No, then don't give them any credit for this. But if this is true, then give them credit for this. If this is true as well, give them credit for this, and so on. What ends up happening is if I set this to default now, okay, I'm going to just reset these back. What'll happen is that it'll say, if this is true, it'll just evaluate this, and the salesperson will only get credit for this first one, the first rule cluster that is a true statement. The other rules that come afterwards will not get evaluated. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. So what I'll do here is that if, let's say, I look at my commission plan and I say, you know what, I actually don't need all of these, all four of these rules. All I need to do is highlight which one and then drag it out, right? So drag it out here, and this is what I'll get. Again, making sure that I end the last, and I want to evaluate both. So because I have both of these evaluated, what's going to end up happening is that if both of these are set to true, the salesperson will get credit for the RMR rule, or could potentially get credit for the RMR rule as well as the total sell rule. Okay. The next thing that we also want to check when we are doing a commission is that the general options tab. We want to see here, we want to show here when we actually charge the commission to the customer, if we do, or if you're charging it to the job, so where it's a cost to the job. Okay, you can have it triggered to be at a penny, and so that basically will always charge if the sell price is a penny or more. Okay. For those of you that are using the Sedona integration, it needs to be a cost to the job for commissions to actually display in your commission area within the job in Sedona. Okay. Unfortunately, right now we don't bring over any commissions to any of our other integrations. Okay. So now we have that information here. The next thing we'll want to do is we want to assign it to a user, right? So to assign it to a user, simply go to Tools, System Configuration, and we'll find the user. So we'll use my user. Okay, click Edit, and there is a Commission tab here. And what I'll do is I'll look for my new salesperson commission. Make sure Use Commission Plan Rates is what's selected, and we'll click Save. Another piece is that when you are doing commissions, if you are a manager that needs to be able to see your team's commission, you will need to make sure that under your people manager that the commission tab or the commission checkbox is actually selected. Otherwise, the commission tab will not display. I've gotten a few tickets in support asking about that, and it was just a setting that needs to be turned on. Okay, so next thing is that what I want to do is I want to double check what this commission presents as, right? What calculates. So what I'll do is I'll open up a job, that I have. And let's copy this. So from here, I go to my commissions, depending on my type of sale, right? I'm sorry, my job type it was. And I'll just add all of these pieces of information. And let's see if we get any. Okay, so here's my $11 because I don't have any RMR in here. But if we look at the 1193, it is, let's confirm, right? 397.68 times, and there's 3%, is 1193. So there's your commission here, right? Again, if we have, so let's take a look at the RMR rule that I had added. So if I have a sale of RMR, right? So let me add some RMR in here. And let's just confirm here. Okay. And there's my RMR, right? So RMR is 2 times 2.5. So 30 times, uh, I'm sorry, 15. I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to see what the rule was. 2 times the RMR. Okay, so what'll end up happening there is that it's going to give me that 2.5. Let's see. Oops, sorry about that. Is this times 2? My math isn't great, so I apologize. But what'll end up happening here is that you'll notice here we got the sale and we have the RMR, which then added up to this 29.93. Now, if I went in here and I said I changed this to be default, okay, that pop-up right there was actually it was a warning to say any jobs that are using this commission plan would need to close because a change is being made. So let me refresh this and let's open that last one. And so now you'll see that the RMR evaluation didn't occur because I only wanted it to do one or the other, right? So if I wanted to move this up for it to evaluate the RMR first, right? I can just move it up. And again, this is the pop-up. Due to a change in the commission plan configurations, calculations may have changed and currently open estimate. So once I click OK, you'll notice this tab goes away. Close. Yep. So let's say that I just switched these. What I'm expecting to see is the $18 and no 11.93 evaluation for the sale price. So there's that. Now, usually, typically what I've seen in more recent years is that rule clusters are all evaluated and credited, but the percentage of what is paid out is on the lower end of percentages versus like 10% of total sell price, it'll be like 3% or 1%, 1.5, depending on um, the price that you're targeting, right, to pay off on. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. One other type of payment which I want to also show here, which I would say there's been a handful of people that have used the rate plan, which is a sliding scale. So what you would do is you have the ability to add in specific margins and how much commission would be um, dependent on those margins within the bracket of margins. So for instance, if I were to use this, so anything with a margin of 25% to 29.99 would get a 15% commission. Anything with 30% to 34.99 would get 18% commission. That's how this sliding scale is built, just to kind of capture a specific bracket of numbers. Those can be captured based off of GP dollars, overall GP dollars, a total sell price, the GP dollars of material specifically, for those of you that do that, and then RMR and net profit value. I've seen more common that I've seen is the total sale and the GP dollars being used. And then this range type is specific to this, which is the profit percent. That's GP percent, GP percent of materials and so on here. Okay, and then you also have the ability to put in a max value. So you cannot exceed 29% commission based on this here. Okay. Any questions on those? Okay. So just moving forward here, for those of you that are doing commissions reports, what you would find is where you would find that report would be here under the commission URG. And from in here, you have the ability to see all of the jobs that were won between a certain period of time, specific dates, specific orders. For those of you that are using Sedona, you have the ability to capture the Sedona commissions in these darker green and orange fields. What this will do is it'll show you how much you can pay um, and what's left to be paid. So you have that conversation or that connection going back and forth between WeSuite and Sedona. Okay. My user currently does not have access to everybody's uh, team here, so it's just my commission URG. But if I had the ability to pay or mark as paid, I would have a little plus sign here on the left, and I would have a little checkbox that would say OK to pay, which would then trigger whoever's doing the commission and paying out the commission. They would have that visibility there that they can then pay specific amounts. Okay, uh, there are documents or reports that are canned or standard into the system. So if there are any specific commission reports that you would like to see on your system, just let us know. Just submit a ticket in there and we'll make sure that it is on your system for you to generate. All right. Does anyone have any other questions before I go back into the job for commission. All right. So as a manager, if you are seeing your commissions, and let's say this commission rate here is not what you expected, it's actually much lower, and maybe the salesperson needs a little boost there, you have the ability to manually adjust the um, the commission here. So you have, since I'm my own sales rep, I can't really make that adjustment. But as a manager, you can make changes here by typing in that number, whatever the new number is, and there is a save button that will populate for you to click save, and it would then apply that it's been manually adjusted by you. Another thing is our commission splits, which allows me to split my $18 with another user. That is a setting that you allow for your team member. So, back here to the system configuration people manager, you have that ability under splits, right? So I'm going to save this. And now I have the ability to split my, oh, looks like Pete doesn't have the commission plan. But so I can split my commission with Pete if he had a commission plan, and it would actually follow the commission plan that he's associated to. So let me actually assign him one right now. Okay. So now I'm just going to open it back up here. So I'm going to split my commission with Pete, and let's do 50%. Sorry, 50% here, right? So I click OK. So now Pete gets $9 and I get $9. Now, why would you do a commission split? Is if, let's say, I was working in tandem with another team member, you want to make sure that you give them the credit that they deserve, right? And you could split it multiple times with multiple people. Um, so that would be all with the commission. If you have any questions that you think about after this webinar, please send us a message, send us a ticket. If something isn't working on your commission, let's take a look at it. Let's make sure that you're able to get that fixed, right? To have it fixed and working for you. All right. And I think that is really all here for that I have for today. And I think Janina, you could take it away.
Sure. Thank you so much, Michelle. So, thank you again for joining us today, and we hope that you've learned some good information to take back for yourselves and share with your teams. If you need to refer to this webinar again, it will be posted on our website by this time tomorrow under Education and then Training and Webinars. And don't forget to mark your calendars for our upcoming webinars. So on December 9th, we'll be discussing using the automated approval module to improve profitability. And on December 16th, we are going to be discussing 2026 prospecting and sales goals. Again, thank you and take care and have a great day, everyone.